Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard and this is Lap of the World. Normally your home for road trips and racetracks, if not of course for the current situation. I hope everyone watching out there is staying safe and in good health. One thing I thought I should do in the meantime, while all of this is going on, is just to continue to upload content to YouTube. And that way people that are sitting in quarantine have something to watch. Is doing my small part among other things that we are trying to do. But I'm also unfortunately a terrible YouTuber in that I do not have a backlog of pre-recorded content that I can just deploy for the next, fingers crossed, month or two. Instead, we're having to get a little creative here, so the next few videos you see could be something a little bit different. But as we look towards the future, I'm going to actually take you guys back a couple of years in today's episode and sort of pick up a track feature that I left on the cutting room floor in its entirety. Because what you're about to see was actually the original proof of concept video that I put together at VIR, Virginia International Raceway, in 2017 as something to sort of show to friends and families in my inner circle, if you want to put it that way, just to see if what I had in my head made sense when it made it into video format. So this was, as most first YouTube videos are, way overthought. So anyway, should be entertaining one way or the other. You be the judge. Enjoy. Well, good morning everyone. It's Richard with Lap of the World. We have just completed our first pit stop of the morning and are getting back on the road. As you can no doubt tell, the forecasts of gloom and doom have not come to pass. I didn't even get to eat any milk sandwiches. Right, milk sandwiches. For those of you not from the southeastern United States, that probably warrants some explanation. We don't see a lot of snow around here, so anytime it's in the forecast, people absolutely panic. Towns shut down, schools close immediately, and for whatever reason, a lot of the population are driven to run to the store and purchase specifically bread and milk. Now, I was talking to my wife about this yesterday when all these forecasts were coming across the TV, and I don't think it would even, either bread or milk would probably not even make our top 5 things to get from the store if we anticipated actually being snowed in, properly snowed in for any period of time. Now my wife is from Colorado, and I've lived there for a couple of years myself, so I know what real snow looks like, and yeah, I don't understand. Regional culinary oddities aside, we are about an hour and a half into what the internet tells me should be a 5.5 hour trip. But I know from experience it will take at least 6 hours, which we should be able to do, or rather the car should be able to do in one sitting. I can stretch it, if I'm cruising, I can stretch it to probably close to 6 hours on a single tank of gas. Regardless, we'll see. And in the meantime, we'll enjoy some the last of the sort of pre-spring southern scenery here as we make our way up to Virginia. Naturally, in my early morning exuberance, I've missed a few key pieces of information. I'm of course headed up to Virginia International Raceway, VIR, for a Monday-Tuesday event with the North Carolina chapter of the Ferrari Club of America. They are graciously allowing me to sneak my Japanese facsimile in to play with the La Bella Macchina. After the predicted 6 hours and some change, we are all but pulling into the gate at this point. We are slowly rolling through the town of Milton, North Carolina. The last probably 10 miles of your trip to get to VIR does this weird thing where it kind of the road you're on weaves back and forth across the border between Virginia and North Carolina. In fact, you don't actually get back into Virginia until you're on the entry road to the track itself. Right, and here we are back in Virginia on Racetrack Road.
Welcome to Virginia.
Thank you. And we have arrived. There's the gate. I'm going to get signed in, turn you guys off, we'll go find a room, and then we'll check back in. Well, we made it. The car is unpacked and ready to go for the morning, and we're settled in a room, just hunting down some food at this point. We managed to score one of the Paddock suites at VIR, which are directly over those garages in the background. They're super convenient for getting to and from your car during a track day when you're parked out here in the paddock area. In the paddock area, ample parking day or night. But I guess the offset is that there's no way you're going to take a nap. Here's the room, right? And there's the front straight. Sacrifices must be made. So we'll take a walk around this little corner of the facility. The VIR grounds in general are massive. So there's no way I'm going to cover that all before the sun goes down. All right, so we've moved down to the east end of the focus. Okay, so we've moved down to the east end of the paddock, and we'll take a look around as just the quick highlights of the facility. So the barn-looking building in the center of the frame right now is that's the classroom, timing and scoring, and race control building. Next to that is the spanking new flag stand. Over from that, behind a couple of trailers there, is the tech shed. They actually have a pretty efficient system. They've got a 2-lane drive-through for tech, which is nice when you have big events like Porsche Club or some of the other NASA events and things like that where you have a ton of cars to get through in the morning. Makes it go pretty quickly. And then moving on over here, you have the hospitality barn. That's what I'm going to call it anyway. It has a banquet hall in the top of it, and downstairs you have a kind of a general store, automotive general store. You can get some consumables, apparel, stuff like that. And then on the far end underneath is a grill, the Paddock Grill, which I will say ranks among the better track food purveyors that I've sampled over the years. So definitely worth it during the day. I will say for dinner, something we're exploring right now is your options are kind of limited. There is a tavern and a pub in the VIR facility. However, outside of that, you're looking at probably, if you're lucky and it's in season or on a big race weekend, you can get something in Milton. Otherwise, you're looking at driving probably 15 to 20 minutes back to Danville. Moving on around, this track does actually sell gas, and they also have an air station there. So if you forget your air tank or mini compressor or whatever, or if you don't want to have to run 20 minutes down the road to get gas, they do sell it. And yeah, it's completely more expensive than what you would pay for at a station down the road. But again, as far as tracks goes, they gouge you a lot less here than they do elsewhere. So off in the distance is the lodge. It's not as convenient as the Paddock suites, in my opinion. However, it's a little bit more cushy. And if you can't get a Paddock suite, that's a good second option. Again, before you have to drive 20 minutes back into town to your hotel.
The schedule for tomorrow starts pretty early. The tech shed is open at 7:15 and the driver's meeting is shortly after that. For those of you not familiar with track days or HPDE events, basically tech inspection is exactly what it sounds like. They want to look over your car and make sure that it's not about to fall apart. And then the driver's meeting goes over any rules for the day, any special rules that are particular to the club or organizing body. I'm not going to bring you along for that because frankly I need to pay attention. So with the sun setting over the Hog Pen roller coaster complex at Virginia International, I'm going to call it an evening. Hopefully our luck with the weather holds and we can get some good footage from on the track tomorrow to share with you guys, and do a little Ferrari spotting as well while we're at it. See you guys in the morning. Well, good morning, and a lovely morning it is, in fact. Our luck with the weather continues to hold this weekend, so we've got clear skies today, albeit cold. It was in the high 20s overnight and still below freezing when we were walking to the driver's meeting this morning. Car went through tech just fine. Driver's meeting is, as usual, non-event. We've been out for a session, and the car held together. Everything went well. So next time out, we'll take you with us and stick all the cameras in the car and take you with us. As you can tell by my my suave attire here, the advanced group with the Ferrari club is a formal event. So, you know, black tie only, put your suit on and whatever else. Honestly, today I don't mind because this thing is about as good as a snowsuit at keeping me warm. Although it does still get, I still get kind of toasty towards the end of a session, but cool off quickly. So, anyhow, I'm going to get the cameras in the car and we'll talk to you from on the track. First experiments with this sound setup, so I apologize if you hear me like heavy breathing the entire time or something weird like that. But we're headed up the grid, and then we're going to get some get a warm up in, and then we'll see if we can narrate a lap without getting ourselves in trouble. And the rain starts to fall, so. All right, coming to closing out this lap. We're gonna start a flyer and see if we can keep in touch with this much quicker 430 in front of us. So I need to brake at about the 5 marker, being conservative because of the rain. Turn in, find our apex. Get on the gas early. Come in here, brake in a straight line here. Get turned in on this section. Let it track out. Go down a gear. Across here, keep looking ahead, find the exit to this whole complex. And then we're going to mat the gas and go. Little confidence tap into the S's here. Idea is to have the wheel almost straight as you go through each turn. Come up here, this is the fun part, over the top, touch the brakes down a gear, and then just have to trust that the road is where you think it is when you go over this crest. Keep it in third, braking a straight line, cut in here, trail braking a little bit there, and then slowing it up for this last turn, which used to be Oak Tree. On to the back straight, back on our horse again. If you're really trying to do this right, you come in here really deep, and your braking goes through the first apex, because because this is your real turn. And you're back on the gas here down the hill. Tracking out. I grab a gear there. I could probably ride out second, but then I'd be having to shift down here, which is where I'm trying to get set up to hit the front straight. So this turn's more important, and I'd rather not be shifting there. It's a marvelous track. It has lots of variety and it has a rhythm. I think rhythm is the key. It's lunchtime at a Ferrari Club Track Day, so we should go car spotting.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girando, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto ad un giro d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto ad un giro d'amor. Questi bei panacchini, quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'onesco color, quel vermiglio d'onesco color. Non più avrai quei panacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante.
As you can tell, I'm indoors. We did finally get some of the weather come through that they'd predicted, so it's freezing rain and getting kind of windy outside. That rolled in, and we decided to promptly go out for one last session, which probably has some interesting footage with it, which you will be watching next. In the meantime, we're going to call it an evening, I think, and go catch up with the Ferrari crew for some dinner. So I'll check in with you guys tomorrow. Unfortunately, conditions quickly worsened from merely questionable to distinctly abysmal. While a wet track can provide an excellent learning environment, an icy track is only really a recipe for disaster outside of a rally. So, in lieu of watching a fairly slow session in fairly bad conditions, let's instead watch the quickest lap I've turned at VIR, free from the distractions of precipitation and narration. save you finding a stopwatch, that was 2 minutes, 13 and some change seconds. Well quicker than anything I accomplished this outing. The difference being that was a time trial event in perfect weather, as opposed to a lazy Monday out with some Italians. Tuesday brought with it more wet conditions, colder temperatures, and full memory cards. Those factors, along with the desire to beat the late arriving snowfall back home, drew the curtain on my spring VIR experience for 2017. Onward home. Until next time, I'm Richard, and this is a lap of the world.